2026 is a strange time to buy a home battery because features are getting smarter and manufacturers are making some really bold claims about performance. Is all that true? We install thousands of these systems every year, and what looks good on a spec sheet does not always translate to the real world. This list is based on what actually happens after install, not just on launch day hype. We have ranked the top 5 batteries for 2026 in this video. Let's get started. In at number 5, the Fox Evo 10. Value with limits. Fox dominates the cheaper end of the battery market. If you've seen a low-cost battery advert online, there's a good chance there was a Fox in that picture. Now here's the really important bit. Cheap doesn't automatically mean bad. In straightforward homes, the Fox Evo 10 does exactly what it says on the tin. Now it comes with just under 10 kilowatt hours of usable storage for your home. It's got sensible inverter options and it's an all-in-one design. That keeps things super simple and it keeps components down to a minimum. Now for customers who want storage without complexity, it works really, really well. But here's the trade-off, and it matters in the long term. Expansion is blunt. If you want more storage later, you're buying a whole nother unit with an inverter, with battery storage, another all-in-one, and that's expensive, but you also need grid approval to do it. Now this isn't going to be a problem if your usage never changes or the grid in your area doesn't get upgraded, but if it does and you want more storage, it's expensive, it's time consuming, and you could be rejected from the grid. Now another consideration is the app user experience, and this really matters more than you would actually expect. Now Fox's app currently sits on the App Store at a measly 2.5 out of 5. Now what this tells you is how users feel once the system's been live, they're playing with the app, playing with the settings. Generally the feedback is it's pretty solid, it's easy to use, but it's featureless. And this can be frustrating if you're an owner who wants to take your system to the next level, but that's really what you got a Fox for. It's a straightforward, basic system that does what it says on the tin. The specs are behind me, but here's the headlines that you need to know. About 10 kilowatt hours of usable storage. You can get a 5, an 8 or a 10 kilowatt inverter model. You're going to get a 12-year warranty, and this battery has heating and also fire protection. And that sort of summarizes the Fox Evo 10. It's a solid entry-level option, but the next battery tackles one of Fox's biggest weaknesses in a very different way. In at number 4 is the Enphase IQ Battery 5P. Efficiency above everything else. This one surprised us, not because it's cheap, because it's powerful, but because of its efficiency. Energy is really expensive, whether you're buying it from the grid, generating it on the roof from solar panels. Once you've got that energy stored, you do not want to lose it inside the battery. Now, Enphase claims significantly higher efficiency than most market leaders. Well, all of them, really. Now, to be honest, we were skeptical until we actually traveled to Germany to their testing facility and saw a real-time test laid out in front of us, and the results were really surprising. It raised eyebrows with everyone in the room. Now what this means for you in a real home is that most of the energy that you store actually makes it back to your house. You're not losing it along the way in conversion losses, small loads, big demands. Now there's a video coming to the channel that explains everything in great detail. With the Enphase system, it is a modular AC design. Now what this means is as you scale your system, not only do you get extra storage, but you also get extra power, but there are compromises like there were with the Fox. Again, adding capacity is expensive. You're buying a whole nother battery with inverters and you do need that grid approval. The difference with Enphase's system is they have the ability to control each inverter in every single battery. That is because the Enphase IQ 5P doesn't feature just one inverter. This system has multiple microinverters. Now, these respond by activating when different levels of power are called from the home. What that means is you get high efficiency, but what it also counts for is when you need more storage, you can flex the actual power of each individual battery to keep the DNO happy. So you can add another system without necessarily putting too much pressure on the grid, and that increases the chances of getting approved. Now, one of the drawbacks of this system is it has no active heating. So if you are going to install these batteries outside below 0 degrees, they're essentially going to shut off. The headlines of the Enphase are it comes in one size, and that is 5 kilowatt hours of usable storage. The inverter power is 3.2 kilowatts, but that does modulate depending on the load in the property. And the most impressive feature, a 15-year manufacturer warranty with this product. So how do you make a decision if this battery is for you? Well, if efficiency is your absolute priority, then this deserves serious consideration. We have done a full deep dive on this system, how it works. That video is going to be available on the channel soon. In at number 3, the Alpha ESS G3, quietly reliable. Alpha doesn't shout, and that is exactly why it is here. This latest G3 range is a huge step forward, especially around safety and reliability. Each battery module manages itself independently. Fire protection is layered, not just promised. With Alpha, the battery cells are also different than the others, and that's because it has a high voltage architecture. Now, what this delivers is strong real-world efficiency without drama, because when you're converting DC energy to AC energy, the higher the voltage, the more efficiency you get, and you get more of that power out. But the real standout with Alpha isn't the hardware, it's the support. Every manufacturer has failures, even the best ones. What really counts is how they deal with those failures when it happens, and the UK support from Alpha is pretty much the best on the market right now, and you can see this in their Trustpilot score. As of today, they've got a 4.8 out of 5 on Trustpilot from customers who rate their service, appreciate their support, and it's a big win for heatable customers. Now, the G3 range of battery systems and inverters isn't the most flexible here. You've only got 2 solar inputs per inverter, so if you've got a complex roof with multiple elevations, Alpha probably isn't going to be for you. But if you've got a straightforward property and you are looking for reliability, efficiency, and great support, Alpha is the one to pick. Let's look at some of the specs on the Alpha G3 system. So you've got 3 choices of inverter: 3.68, 5, and 8 kilowatt. You have 2 battery modules, a 4.8 kilowatt hour and a 9.6 kilowatt hour, a 10-year warranty with great support. And the Alpha system also comes with heating, it can go outside, and it has full 5-point fire protection built in as standard. Now, the next one is the battery that most people expected to win. In at number 2, the Tesla Powerwall 3, the obvious choice. Now, Tesla changed the home battery market. The Powerwall 3 is powerful, polished, and extremely well engineered. Now, thermal management is best in class with the Powerwall 3. Automation is genuinely smart, and the system optimizes itself without you having to lift a finger. But what do I mean by thermal management? Well, home batteries have an operating window. If it's too cold or too hot, their performance is reduced, or it can even stop. Now, most batteries, they react to changing temperatures, but Tesla is different. Their algorithm is forecasting weather and making decisions ahead of the actual event. So if the Powerwall 3 sees that tonight is going to be really cold, well, beforehand it will start to condition those cells to keep them in optimal condition. Tesla's technology doesn't just stop with thermal management. They have an inbuilt inverter that can be electronically limited, updated, adjusted to suit your property's needs. So when you apply for your G99, if you're rejected for a certain power rating in the Tesla app, we just set it slightly lower. If the network is upgraded later on, we just log in and we can update that power. Now this is free to do, you're not buying additional hardware, and the flexibility of the inverter of the Tesla is a standout feature. With those other systems like the Fox, like the Enphase and the Alpha, if you want to change the power of your system, you need to buy different or additional hardware. And it doesn't just stop with the inverter power. Expansion of storage is now more simple with Tesla than it was previously, because they've launched something called the expansion packs. And essentially what these are is raw battery storage with no inverters. So you buy an additional expansion pack, you're not going to have to get grid approval, and you get more storage. But there is a bit of a catch. When you buy an expansion pack for your Tesla Powerwall 3, you can only get it in one size, 13.5 kilowatt hours. So if you just need a little bit more storage than your original Powerwall 3, you've got no choice but to expand it with another 13.5 kilowatt hours. And that's expensive, it is simple, but it is a Tesla product, so it's not going to be cheap. There are also some considerations around that advanced technology. That AI self-learning Tesla algorithm is brilliant, but when it comes to user control, it's pretty limited. And that's because the Tesla system either has a basic set of settings or full Tesla automation. And if you want to say, charge my battery to 100% tomorrow, the Tesla app is going to decide whether that's wise. It's not going to listen to your ideas. The Tesla specs are really broad, but here are some highlights. So the storage, it's the same on every model, 13.5 kilowatt hours of usable storage. When it comes to the inverter, you just buy one unit, but you have multiple selections available, ranging from 3.68 all the way up to 11 kilowatts. You get a 10-year manufacturer warranty with a guarantee that in 10 years, you will still have 80% of your original capacity that the battery left factory with. Now, all of the features of this market-leading product can't be fit into this short summary, but what you can do is go onto the Heatable YouTube channel and find a full Powerwall 3 review where we break down every single element of this battery, its software, the hardware, and that will really help you make a decision if it's the right battery for you. Now, not putting the Powerwall 3 in position 1 was a really tough decision. We have so much experience with this product. We are well on the way to installing nearly 2,000 Powerwall 3s since that product was launched. And so much so that Tesla actually gave us an award for being performance excellence installers. Now, you only get this if you're doing huge volumes of installs, you have high quality and exceptional customer feedback from consumer experiences. So to get that award was a big win for Heatable. Not putting it in position 1, you'll find out why now. Because the next #1 system has some pretty exceptional features that both installers and users love. It's the sigenergy Store, the most complete system. Now, sigenergy, they haven't been around long, but they have disrupted the market very, very quickly. They have stolen market share of some of the biggest players, and it doesn't appear to be stopping. Now, the Store, it's not just a battery, it's a modular energy platform. You choose the inverter that you need from a huge variety, and you add storage in sensible increments. And the scale of the system is entirely up to you. You scale the system without redesigning everything later. That flexibility is why this system works so well for such a wide range of homes. You've got single phase, you've got 3-phase, and if you are a home that is planning to add an EV, vehicle to grid and high-speed DC charging, that's also available. Now, if home full backup is important to you, maybe you live in the sticks, maybe you have power outages, the Store can be paired with an optional backup gateway. This gives you proper whole home resilience, and if the grid goes down, your lights stay on, your system continues to produce energy whilst everyone else is sat in the dark. Now, I just want to talk about that EV DC charger, because usually when you charge your EV at home, you'll have an AC charger that plugs into your car and your car does the conversion for you. But with sigenergy, it is different. you can replace one of the battery modules or install on top of a battery module their EV DC charger. And what this does is take DC current straight out of those batteries with no conversion, no losses, and puts it straight into your vehicle, giving you higher charging speeds and more efficiency. Now, what's also interesting about the SigeNstore system is it supports bi-directional charging. So you can take power from your vehicle and power your home, but it's not actually authorized by the grid yet. It's in the hardware, it's in the software, it is ready to go. It's simply a case of turning a switch on once the grid says this is okay. When it comes to power and solar input, you're not boxed in. There is a huge choice of inverter sizes. Whether you're on single phase or three phase, you'll be able to find one that fits you. And all of these inverters have huge solar input capabilities. So you're not going to run out of strings or PV power, even on some of the smaller units. And if you go for one of the bigger inverters, it's basically limitless. Now, the hardware on sigenergy is really, really impressive, but what is more impressive is the software, and it's the real differentiator when it comes to the product. It puts you in control, or at least you can choose it to do so, because sigenergy has AI power built into its inverters, to its software platform. And if you want to decide, do the best thing for me, go for profit, go for self-consumption, go for export, you just tell it what to do and it will make all of the decisions. But where it is different from Tesla is the Sigen system will also give you the option for full user control. You can tie it into scripts, you can tie in third-party controllers, so stuff like the Shelly interface can be fully embedded within the Sigen app. And this is why for tech-savvy owners, the sigenergy system is a real favorite. There is no real limitation to control, instruction. It will basically do whatever you want it to do if you know what you're doing. The sigenergy spec list is extensive, but let's look at some of the highlights for the single phase design. So you start with a 3 kilowatt inverter, and that goes up in increments all the way to 12 kilowatts. The bigger the inverter, the more PV strings and PV power you can put into it. And when it comes to choosing your batteries, you've got two choices. You have a 6 kilowatt hour and a 9.1 kilowatt hour module, and you can interchange them within the battery itself. You can have up to 6 modules per one inverter, but if you do go for the EV charger, one of those would need to come out because the maximum is 6, and that counts as a module. When you step back and look at the full picture, backup capability, 3-phase, single phase, EV, DC charging, customizable power, modular storage, this system often becomes more cost effective. You can see why it's won position 1. And it's also cost effective to expand your system. Those modules, they're available in 6 or 9.1 kilowatt hours, and you can mix and match them. So if you do just need a little bit more storage, it's really easy to install. It's cheaper than buying a whole other battery, and it's simple. So if you do just need a little bit more storage, there's no grid approval required, and you've not got to make a huge leap with like 13.5 kilowatt hours of storage. This makes real sense to homeowners, buyers, and installers. The reality, you can't really go wrong with any of these batteries in this top 5. If you want to learn more about that sigenergy battery, then there is a video on screen here where you can learn everything about that product. If you want one installed, then why not use the 2025 Installer of the Year, Heatable. Give this video a like, subscribe, leave a comment if you disagree or agree with anything I've just said.